How was it working as a mechanic in your younger days?
It was good and very rewarding. However, my body is now paying the price.
And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
26.
So you decided to buy a Jaguar and thought, wow, amazing car, even though there's a Ford engine in here. This whole engine here is from a Ford. We can see clearly right there, even the parts say Fumoko, which is Ford. Look over here, some more Fumoko, which is Ford. If you even have a Ford, some of this stuff will seem familiar, even this whole top cover. This is basically an EcoBoost Mustang. And funny enough, I called for this purge job that has failed. Now, because it's from Jaguar and only Jaguar sells it, it's going to be $300. We could get one online, or we could modify this by cutting the two hoses here and putting a universal purge valve in here. It is just a Ford or Bosch part. As you can see, the part number is right there. But they'll only sell you this little unit right here without the hoses. And that's exactly how they trap you. Because some people are kind of scared to chop it up, maybe modify it a little bit. But just this valve alone is like 30 bucks. And that's a lot cheaper than $300 for the whole assembly. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you have AC problems, here's your high side. And guess where your low side connector is? Your low side connector is actually underneath the car. But that's a Jaguar for you.
And that's why mechanics need to be paid more. If you've ever heard the saying, if you want a Jaguar, buy two, one for the road and one for the garage. As he indicates, you need it for the parts. But for mechanics, it's not just about the money. A Jaguar is like seeking shelter inside a garden shed during a hurricane. That is a ridiculous saying to tell you that you're not going to get the best value. So in today's episode, we're revealing why the sight of a Jaguar, it kind of sends shivers down a mechanic's spine.
How far is too far to do a pollen filter? I think this far. 2018 I-PACE in for a service. No real drama. Got a stupid engine in it that always blows up, but whatever. So let's start again. Seat out. Dashboard trim out. Rear valance piece off the centre dashboard. Top piece off. 2 screws here. All because some dickhead engineer puts a screw there with the glove box. Now I can take it out. So now, all that's removed. And there's the pollen filter. How is this viable? How is this necessary? I mean, I'm sure some Jaguar buff is going to go, you don't need to do that, but you clearly do need to take that off, to get that off, to get that off. So don't call me shit before you start. Open, says me. Yay. Well, they're not been changed in a while. I wonder why.
Black coffee, one shot.
Bit of a difference. But let's get this thing reassembled and I can swear it some more. Then go on to the next one. Have a good day, guys.
And then he has to reverse engineer the process all over again. But we have to look at the famous electrical system. You're seeing one here. It's less of a system and more of a poltergeist, likely designed by the Prince of Darkness himself, Joseph Lucas, for those who are familiar with the film. When one tiny sensor throws a wobbler, then the entire car can have a meltdown, turning the dashboard into a light show. And we're talking about batteries that die overnight and infotainment systems that freeze. But as soon as a diagnostic tool or a machine appears, somehow the problems just often disappears. And modern Jags like the I-PACE are known for these issues. For a mechanic, time is money and maneuvering all those wires. It's gonna take hours and more than likely they can't even charge you for those hours based on how the car is built. Look at this pollen filter, how deep he has to go in order to change it.
So it seems like I get all of the fun vehicles. I got a 2019 Jaguar I-PACE P300. We have a nasty oil leak coming from what looks like the rear main seal. And if you've ever worked on one of these vehicles, you know that there is no way you're getting that transmission separated from that engine while it's in the vehicle. Like, even with it out of the vehicle, just look at this mess. This looks like a disaster, and I'm not kidding, bro. This looks really, really bad. Like, I got to deal with all of that, figure out how to get the transmission apart from the engine, and fix that rear main seal leak. Hopefully, maybe it's not a rear main seal, but either way, when you got this engine and a transmission combination in the vehicle, you can't tell where anything is coming from. You can't even see the engine mostly from the top. From the top, like, you can barely see the engine. Like, seriously, this thing is crammed in there. Yeah, I get all of the fun stuff. So there we go. Hopefully you never get one of these Jaguar I-PACEs and have to deal with anything like this. So that's it.
And if we go to the cooling system of the Jaguar, they often use plastic for critical cooling parts. Now, after thousands of heat cycles, this plastic, they become very brittle and it causes the car to dump all the coolant at once. On a Jaguar V8, overheating isn't a minor problem. It's the automotive equivalent of a cardiac arrest. If the owner doesn't shut it down immediately, they're looking at a terminal engine damage. A cheap plastic part, it's actually worth less than even a fish dinner, and it can destroy the car's heart. Has anyone ever owned one of these gorgeous money pits? That's what we call them. Or did you get a good one? Please share your stories in the comments below.
Jaguars are the biggest rip-off luxury car, and I don't even know why. I just really hate them. And let me explain. First of all, have you ever sat in a Jaguar? It's not luxurious. It's not a smooth ride. It's not that comfortable. Now, it's funny because I love Land Rover, and they're in the same family. So instead of spending, what, like $50,000 or $80,000 on a Jaguar, you could buy a Tesla, you could buy an Audi, you could buy a BMW. Hell, there are American-made cars I would buy before I would buy that one. There is a plethora of options. 50 to 80 grand is a lot of money. So look for the smoothness of a ride and look for the service record, and that's real luxury.
I already know they're gonna comment on the way you think Jaguar.
Oh, how's it supposed to be said?
The Jag, if you want to be cool.
Nah, I'm not cool, dude. These people don't think I'm cool. Are you out of your mind?
And that's Anik single. You can basically afford any car you want, and he's telling you to stay away from a Jaguar. But with so many Jags, the question isn't if it will fail, but when. Many were advertised as sealed for life, leading owners to believe they never needed service. And the truth is, sealed for life often means the gearbox life, not the cars, because the fluid, it doesn't last forever. The mechanic is then left to explain why this maintenance-free part now requires one of the most eye-watering repairs a car can have. And beyond the cooling, the engines, they have their own little problems. On many V6 and V8 engines, the plastic timing chain guides, they were prone to wear out often. That rattle on a cold start isn't just a character. It's like the sound of a grenade that the pin has been pulled. It's also how they were assembled. A simple job can turn into a monumental task, forcing the mechanic to dismantle half the engine bay to reach a single sensor. And this is what they call the jag tax, where every repair takes longer because the designer apparently hated the person who actually would one day fix it.
This is how you should know how to stay away from a car at the auction right here. If it has a dealer ticket on it, that's a sign that you need to stay away from the car that is usually fucked up, so they just sent it to auction. Shout out to my boy P Money for putting me on game for this. But let's go ahead and start it up. This is really cool in the Jaguars, but let's start it up. Let's see if it has any lights. Let's go ahead and check. It says please refuel. Still, it's like they're really good at putting makeup on a pig at the auction, so you still need to be careful. Check out the outside.
Makeup on a pig.
SVR, man. This Jag is sick, man. I know the range SVRs are nasty. This F-Pace looks sick, though. The seats are well done, though. Not gonna lie. They're definitely gonna sell this, 100%. It's 2020, and this is from JP Morgan Chase Repo Bank, as you can see right here. JP Morgan. Yeah, man. It's actually really smart for banks to go ahead and do that after they get the car inspected to see, you know, if they could resell it at dealerships. And then they'll go ahead and send it to auction and try and make it look as clean as possible and just try to dump it at the auction.
I mean, beautiful car, they actually stand out. One comment here says, never buy a Jaguar. They are beautiful cars, but only if you have money to spend. They are a flex and nothing more. So they will actually catch you off guard. The question is, do you think they are any better? No, the data tells a dark comedy. Now, RepairPal gives Jaguar a dismal reliability rating of 2.5 out of 5, ranking it 29th out of 32 brands. And they note the chance of a repair being severe is higher than average. While a JD Power study showed some improvements in initial quality, a 2023 study on the 3-year-old vehicles found Jaguar had significantly more problems than the industry average. Look at the I-PACE EV model, for instance. After 5 recalls for the same fire risk didn't work, Jaguar decided in late 2024 to buy back nearly 3,000 of them.
Jaguar sales have dropped a staggering 97% ahead of their rebranding, making it one of the steepest declines for a premium car maker in recent history. But here's what the headlines are not telling you. Now, it is true that in April, Jaguar only sold 49 cars Europe-wide, which does represent a 97.5% decline compared to the same month last year. Heck, CNBC reported that in May, they didn't sell a single car. But the nuance is that unlike other European car brands like BMW and Mercedes, which have continued to sell their internal combustion vehicles while slowly introducing EVs, Jaguar didn't. They just straight up halted all of their current models in late 2024, also that they can clear their inventory before their major rebranding in 2026. So this staggering collapse isn't just because buyers are turning their backs on the brand, it's because there's simply no cars to buy. But the big question is, when they actually start selling again, will this controversial rebranding be a major success or horrible failure? No pressure. Everyone is now watching.
And not only that, a lot of people actually, they started dreading Jaguar, and you're seeing it right here. I think parts that are designed to fail and engineering that built this brand is a personal insult to the type of money and class that this brand wanted us to believe. I've not even gone into the disastrous ad campaign that we saw. This brand promised luxury, but often delivered a full-blown migraine to mechanics.
So, for any of you out there that have ever considered getting a Jaguar, please don't. Go the other way. Own a few. And they all suck. They're unreliable, are a waste of money. They're just beautiful to look at. But don't waste your money. Because everything's a problem. Everything. No matter how, this one's a new exchange. I'm taking care of it like gold, and it's already $30,000 in repairs. Just run away from it. Go for another brand. Don't be a masochist like me.
Jaguar for a shockingly good price. Remember what you've learned. You could be buying a front row ticket to a world of pain.
What's more reliable, Land Rover or Jaguar?
Never owned any of them, and I've never worked on any of them, so couldn't tell you.
What's more reliable, Jaguar or Land Rover?
Neither.
What's more reliable, Jaguar or Land Rover?
I don't know. I've never owned any of them, but I'd probably go Land Rover.
Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. The links are in the description box below. Stay sharp, stay educated, and I will see you in the next one.